Masartang Malaki ng Kape! What's the best way to make coffee when you're camping in the woods or hiking on the trail? Let's find out. But first, let me say a few words to my friends in the Philippines. Magandang umaga, kaibigan ko. Ako si David Rogel o Tatay Dave sa Paris Mountain State Park sa Greenville, South Carolina, USA. Ngayong araw, hindi ako mag-camping. Mag-hiking na lang. Iinom ako ng kape ngayong umaga. Inom tayo. We're actually going to take the Brissy Ridge Trail to a little pond with a bunch of campsites around it. So we're right here, the parking area. We're going to take this yellow Brissy Ridge Trail all the way over to Pipsissewa, the green trail. It'll bring us to the North Lake. We're going to take a right, go around the lake, and hopefully campsite number 3 is available. We'll see. Hi, Mom. Pipsissewa. Must be an old Native American name. Wonder what it means. Here we are, campground number 3, otherwise known as Ground Cedar. Let's see what it looks like, and then we'll start making some coffee. Pretty nice. Place for a tent right there. Campfire, table, lantern pole. First, I want to show you how I make coffee at home because I'm cheap. But a lot of people in the States use a new technology called K-Cups. You just put one of these cartridges in the machine, select the size of your cup, and push start. Now, to me, this is just another way corporations are trying to extract money from people. A machine like this costs about $150. Maybe you can get it for about $100 if it's on sale. And that's about 8,000 pesos. Then you need to buy all the K-Cups, and a package of 24 costs about $15 or 800 daang piso. So isang kape costs 63 cents or about 34 na piso. Masyadong mahal para isang kape. So this is what I do at home. I wait for a buy one, grab one sale at the supermarket, and I get 2 bags of ground coffee like this, 100% Arabica coffee. And I usually drink 2 cups like this, sometimes 3, and it averages me about 16 cents per cup. Sa piso 9 na lang. By the way, have you ever noticed on your coffee package that it says 100% Arabica? Do you know what that means? Alam mo ba? There are basically 2 types or 2 species of coffee plants. One is called Arabica and the other Robusta, or as you might pronounce it in the Philippines, Robusta. According to Wikipedia, coffee originated in Yemen, spread to Egypt, then Turkey, and then later, around 1700, it was harvested in Indonesia. A legend reported by Lisa Perryman of Probe International says that coffee originated in Ethiopia around the year 850 AD by a shepherd named Kaldi, who noticed his sheep were unusually perky after eating these coffee cherry berries on a shrub. Is coffee mentioned in the Bible? Well, not that I'm aware of. However, there is a people in the Old Testament and a letter in the New Testament called Hebrews. There are certain religious groups out there, or cults, that forbid their people from drinking coffee, but it's not against the Bible. Now, under the period of the law, there were certain foods that the Israelites were forbidden from eating. I once asked my Jewish grandfather, I said, "Hey, Pop, how come you don't eat pork?" And he said, "Well, that's against my religion." And I said, "But Pop, you eat lobster, and lobster's also forbidden by your religion. Why do you eat lobster?" And he said, "Because I like lobster." In the Old Testament, there were no restrictions against drinking coffee, probably because it wasn't discovered yet, or if it was discovered, it hadn't gone mainstream. Even if coffee had been against the law applied only to Israelites. It did not apply to Gentiles. And when Jesus, the Messiah, gave his life on the cross to pay for the sins of mankind, both Jews and Greeks, all people, all over the world, of all time. When Jesus did that and established the church, the age of the law came to an end, and all those dietary restrictions ended. So here's what I do at home. I get my coffee, my cup, and this is not just an ordinary cup. It has an insert with a screen at the end of this insert. So what you do, it's basically a French press, but it's all in one coffee cup. I take a scoop of coffee grinds, put it in the cup. Then we take our hot water, and you need gloves for this. Just so you know, you never want to hold the cup like this while you're pouring hot water into it. That's a good way to get burned. So we'll take our hot water, pour it in the cup, and we're going to let that brew for about a minute. And then what we do is push this little plunger insert down just very slowly. And that gives us a nice cup of coffee with no grinds in it. And what we could do today, since I'm not at home and I don't have the refrigerator handy to get the milk, I like my coffee with a little milk and sugar. I found this from Copper Cow Coffee. It is milk and sugar latte creamer. Add this sweetened condensed milk creamer to coffee or tea for a 100% natural treat. And it's the ingredients are just milk and sugar. There's no high fructose corn syrup. There's no ingredients that I can't pronounce, no preservatives, just milk and sugar. And I like that. Okay, so take the top off, pour some of that. Ooh, it's kind of thick, like a syrup. Interesting. I'm not a sponsor for this Copper Cow Coffee. I just like that it's natural. Stir it. I have my spoon here. I guess I could use that. That's a nice brown color, light brown color. There. Look at that. Then we just put the cover on. And it's just like at home. Pretty good. Now I'll show you in a minute, but the problem with this, the reason why you really can't take it camping, well, I guess you could take it camping if you have plenty of water, because when you finish the coffee and you pull that insert out, you have all these grinds left at the bottom, and they're kind of stuck to that screen, and it's a big mess, and you need a lot of water to clean it out. So for that reason, and because it's stainless steel, it's rather heavy. It's not really what a backpacker would want in this pack. It's just too heavy. So there's got to be a better way. Okay, so this will be really the first serious camping / hiking method for making coffee on the trail. And I like this method. I like it a lot. It means carrying 2 little packets. Okay, this is a Korean brand that I bought at a local Asian market, and I know you guys have this in the Philippines. It's pretty popular. It's called 3-in-1. It contains instant coffee, cream, and sugar. So you would think that if you open this up, pour it into the cup, it looks like instant coffee with a bit of white. I don't know if you can see that. White instant dry milk. So what you do is, once that's in your cup, ow, hot. You just take your hot water, pour in how much you want. Keep that water hot. Take my handles out. Give it a good stir. Looks like coffee. Let's see how it tastes. Now I'm holding this one to the side for now. I'll show you why. Ooh, hot. I need to wait for that to cool for a minute. All right, let's try it now. You know, it's not quite right. I find the coffee extremely weak. And if I add another one of those 3-in-1s, it's going to be so milky and still fairly weak. So what I found is, if we go to Starbucks, I'm not a sponsor, but they do sell an instant coffee called Pike Place Roast. 100% Arabica instant and micro ground coffee. So if we take some of this, I find that if we use half of it, not all of it, just half of it, mix that in, not only does it darken it up, but the taste is pretty acceptable. That's better. I'm not really a fan of instant coffee. It does have a unique taste. So it's not my preferred way of making coffee on the trail. Another fairly healthy and fairly decent way to make coffee on the trail is just use the Starbucks instant coffee pack with one of these Copper Cow coffee creamers. Just mix the two, and that'll be an acceptable way. If you can handle instant coffee, it's not my preference, but fairly lightweight. I mean, the cream weighs an ounce, so it's not like dry milk, but it is natural. And as you consume it on the trail, your pack will get lighter. Anyway, you'll just have to carry out the trash. All right, the next way, also by coffee, Copper Cow coffee, Vietnamese coffee. It's called Classic Pour Over. And let me open that for you. This is very interesting. How do you open it? Look at this. It's a filter with a little handle for your cup. How do you do this? Tear open filter. Okay, tear open the filter. Okay, now I can see the coffee grinds. Then you put these little wings over the cup, like that. And then, move this trash out of the way. Then we take our hot water and we pour it into this filter. Pour it fairly slowly. This is a type of drip method. The water goes in the filter and drips out at the bottom of the filter. To heat up some more water. So we'll continue to pour it into this filter. All right, let's give this a try now. We'll take this filter off. All right, let's taste that. That has a very distinct flavor. A little bit bitter. It's Vietnamese coffee, and I don't have much experience with that. I don't really like it. It's not really my cup of coffee. All right, next, and this one's pretty interesting. We take our favorite coffee that we enjoy every morning. We don't have to try anything new. We just use the same type of coffee we're used to. Put it in the cup. And then simply, I need to get my gloves because this is hot. Pour the water into the cup. Okay. And this is what we call, or what's known as, cowboy coffee. The grinds are just floating there in the water. And some people will let those grinds settle as much as they can, and then they'll just sip it. But you get some of the grinds in your mouth. And yeah, I don't really like that idea. Let's try it. I'm going to try it without the creamer because I know I'm not going to drink this, and I don't want to waste the creamer. That's gross. All right, that's pretty bad, but look at this. This is a straw with a filter at one end and a little silicone sipping place at the other end. So what you do is you just stick it in the coffee and you sip it through this straw, which filters the grinds out. That's better. Oh yeah. That's doable. Just add some cream and that would work. But I'm not really used to sipping coffee through a straw, so I don't think that's a good solution for me. Plus, there's the weight of the straw. It's like stainless steel. It's kind of heavy. It must weigh a couple ounces anyway. And when you're hiking, every ounce counts. Is there a way to make coffee without packing this kind of extra weight? Wait till you see what's next. A very frugal option. All right, next. And this is probably my preferred method for making and drinking coffee when camping and when on the trail. We take a filter, okay? This is just a regular filter. You get 300 for about $1.62, I think it was. You put it in the cup, a little bit concave. You don't want a huge dip because when you pour the water, the water is going to come up the cup to a certain level. You don't want the filter to be sitting in the level. So just enough to stick your coffee grinds in, pour the water in, and then you take an elastic band, stick it around the top of the cup, get your coffee, fill that about halfway, and then we'll slowly pour the water in. Just a little bit at a time. You don't want it to overflow, of course. And it takes a few seconds for the level to go down. This is basically a drip method, just like the Vietnamese filters. But those are a lot more expensive. And if you don't like the taste, you're kind of stuck with it, aren't you? This way, you're using your favorite coffee, you're using a cheap filter, and you're just adding water. You can buy these plastic contraptions from outdoor stores. Kind of expensive. But why bother spending all that money and carrying that extra gear, which could break, I suppose, when you could just do this? You just have to be a little patient, but what's the hurry? We're out in the woods, we're out in nature, we're enjoying this time to ourselves and with our families. There's no rush. All right, let's carefully take the rubber band off. Carefully lift the filter without dripping the grinds in the cup. If it's not too hot, you can actually squeeze it a little bit. It's kind of like milking a cow. So that's an appropriate name. Copper Cow Coffee. So let's add our cream and sugar. And now the taste test. Oh yeah, just like at home. That's what I'm talking about. Now while I'm sipping on my coffee, we need something to go with it. So I brought along something that'll be pretty tasty, I think. I haven't tried it before. This will be my first time. And it's right here in my little makeshift oven. Don't want it too hot. Just want to heat it up. Can't wait to show you what it is. I think it's time to flip it. Woo, it's hot in there. Give you a little peek. See? All right. It's called Pandesol. I think that's how you say it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Pandesol. And you can pick them up at the Asian restaurant. It's a Filipino, wow, that's hot. Filipino, I don't know what you would call it, a roll. It's got bread and it has, let's see, it's called Pandesol. It has flour, sugar, eggs, salt, yeast, water, powdered milk, evaporated milk, and the filling is purple yam, sugar, and coconut milk. And it's supposed to pair well kasima kape. So I'm gonna go sit in the chair, enjoy nature, and drink my two favorite coffees. The one I just made and the one from my French press, which I normally wouldn't bring hiking and camping. All right, let's give that Pandesol a try. The moment of truth. Wow. It's light and fluffy, very sweet. The texture kind of reminds me of a Krispy Kreme donut, but it's not quite that sweet. It's got a really nice soft texture, almost pasty. Wow, that is really good. I'm so surprised. And it goes well with coffee. Oh, let me show you. I didn't show you the close-up. Doesn't that look good? I wish you could taste it. You gotta find a Filipino store that sells this. Super delicious. I have a lot of coffee to drink. I'm starting to wake up now. Well, it's time to pick up my mess and pack up and head out. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe and follow and all that stuff. And I hope you learned a few different ways to enjoy coffee out on the trail without weighing down your pack too much. Watching it is one thing, but actually getting out there on the trail is a whole different matter, and I encourage you to do that. To get out in God's wonderful creation, unwind, and try experimenting with different things like I'm going to be showing you in some future videos. So, with that said, God bless, mabuhay, and paalam. Masatang malaki ng kate!